So good evening. Thanks for coming to tonight's continuing education. I know I've been a little bit MIA lately, and it seems like all of December, all of January was kind of a blur for me because I was sick off and on, and then I got really sick. And and I'm pretty sure it was COVID, but I don't know for sure because I never went in and got tested. And trust me, I am super glad that I have what I have because I have an arsenal of products I can use at my disposal or at my defense, actually. So for me, I wouldn't know what to do without what I have. In fact, it's always good to talk to others because sometimes there's something else that could possibly help you that you might not have thought about. And that was something that was given to me because at the very tail end of everything, I had more of like a cough and more lung issues. And so I was given a blend to put together as an inhaler. And then I added an oil that I never would have thought about adding for respiratory, and that's arborvitae. Now, we're not talking about arborvitae tonight or arborvitae, however way you want to say it, but it is a very good essential oil that is good for respiratory. So I put Breathe and arborvitae together every morning, every night. I put it on my chest. And then my inhaler was laurel leaf, melissa, and frankincense. No breathe whatsoever. And so that was my inhaler. Now you can buy inhalers that are for the nose specifically. And it has like a little wick in there. Then you put your oils on that. But what I did is made a small amount in a roller bottle, and then I would just smell it. Or in this case, it was like trying to put the roller on, and it slipped out of my hand and went flying across the counter and then all on the floor. And I was like, I almost cried. But I'm like, okay, paper towel. So I got the paper towel, wiped it all up. That was my inhaler for a while. So where I sat to watch TV or whatever I was doing, it's like that went with me everywhere. And it's like I would be smelling my paper towel. Oh my gosh. So I was like, because Melissa's expensive, right? And so I want to make sure that didn't go to waste. And it still smells well to this day, and that's been a week. So just to let you know, that's still potent. But they really were very helpful. It really helped get rid of what congestion I had left over and get me to where I felt like I can actually breathe again very well and I could take a deep breath. So tonight we're going to talk about cardamom. Cardamom is another essential oil that's useful for respiratory and a whole lot of other things. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Diana Hinkle, and I have been using essential oils now for over 10 years. And like I said, I cannot think of my life being without them because I use them on me, my dogs, my horses. Now I have goats and my chickens. And it's just been an incredible journey because I have saved so much money being able to have something that I can utilize for anything and everything. So it's good to have those options. Yes, veterinarian care, if you need it, you know when you really need it. And the doctor or any other, it's when you have something going on and you get diagnosed or you get we want to do this, here's what we recommend, that's where you have a choice. That choice is what they recommend, or could there be something on the natural side that can do the same thing, but better and faster and not cause other issues? like digestive issues or constipation, because medications can do that. And in some cases, medications cause headaches and a myriad of other things. And another thing is that this is in no way to diagnose, treat, or cure anything. I'm here to give you information and let you decide what to do with it. So none of this has been evaluated by the FDA. So essential oils have been around forever. But until doTERRA came along, or through the years, essential oils became adulterated. And then doTERRA came along knowing that this was a problem. And they have grown. They grew within 5 years to be the largest essential oil company in the entire world. That's huge, right? So we want to applaud doTERRA, for one, for sticking to their guns, knowing that everything that we get is 100% across the board exactly what they say it is. There's no cutting corners with doTERRA, and it shows. That's why when you use doTERRA products, they work every time. Now, our chemistry is different. I'm not going to go into the Essential 101, but our chemistry is different. So what works well for me may not work well for you, but there's a lot of options out there. So let's talk about cardamom. Cardamom is one of those oils that it's a spice. How many of you have used it in your kitchen for things? To spice it up, right? But cardamom is good for the respiratory. It's good for digestive support. It's good for headaches. It can be good for nausea. And so when we look at this particular oil, it also has a lot of esters in it. So when you look at essential oils, there's always, on the science part of it, the chemicals and constituents. You want to look at that. So 40% of cardamom is ester. So let me read you what esters are so that you know. So esters are the compounds resulting from the reaction of an alcohol, and no, not the alcohol you buy at the store. This is within the essential oil with an acid. It's known as esterification. Esters consist of a carboxyl group, or it's a carbon atom double bonded to an oxygen atom, which is good for respiratory. It's bound to a hydrocarbon group on one side and bound to an oxygen and hydrocarbon group on the opposite side. Okay, so esters are very common and are found in the mildest essential oils, mostly free of toxicity and irritants. They tend to be the most calming, relaxing, and balancing of all the essential oil constituents. They are also antifungal, antispasmodic, and they have a balancing or regulatory effect, especially on the nervous system. Examples like a strong antiviral or antifungal, like candida. And if you don't know what candida is, I really want you to do your research, because I didn't know what it was either. When I first got into using essential oils, I kept hearing candida over and over again. I was like, what the heck is candida? So my mother didn't know what it was either. She's 88. So, well, at the time she wasn't, but it was like, so we don't know what we don't know. So we have to learn. So I give you an assignment. Find out what candida is. And then you will be going, oh my gosh. So everybody has this issue with candida, guaranteed. So anyway, it's a so esters are a major constituent in cardamom and some other oils too, like clary sage, geranium, and some of those other ones. But we're not going to go into those right now. Okay. All right. So we know they're antifungal, we're antibacterial as well. So where do you put your essential oils? Well, if you're looking for it to help you respiratory, on the chest, okay, or an inhaler, or put it on your hands and go. Breathe through your nose, take away your hands, and exhale through your mouth, okay, and do it several times. That's another way of making your own inhaler. Or like what I did is, make a mess and wipe it up with your paper towel, and you've got your inhaler. It's a cheap one. So that's one way of doing it for if you need that respiratory support. You can also put it on the bottom of your feet and still get some very good support. You can also put it on the back of your neck. There's a little orbital triangle right back here about right at the base of your skull that you can put your oils on there too. So if you've got a headache, where would you think you'd put essential oils if you had a headache? Temples, because that's typically where it's going to go, right? So, but when you use essential oils on your head and in your temples, please make sure you're not too close to your eyes. If you ever get anything in your eye, please don't use water. Water is a driver, so you don't want to use water. You can use like coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil, an olive oil, any kind of fats, or just keep your eyes closed for a while and it will dissipate. Yes, you're going to tear up, but I promise you won't go blind. But just don't use water to try to wash it out, because that's the one thing we've always been taught. Use water. In this case, no, don't do that. So we want to, temples, you could also put it at the back of your neck. You could put it behind your ears even. So it depends on what you're using it for as to where you want to put it. Now, obviously, if you have respiratory issues, you're going to want to smell it first, but you can still put it on you and let your body have its get the benefits of that essential oil. You can sorry. You can also use cardamom. Since it's in the spice world, you can use it internally. So you can use it aromatically, topically, and internally. Now, if you're using it topically, make sure that you know that you don't have any sensitivity to it. Always check a little small portion someplace that's not going to drive you crazy. If you have a lot of sensitivity, make sure you use like a fractionated coconut oil or some type of oil. We like fractionated coconut oil because there's no fragrance to it and it soaks into the skin very quickly. Now, when you start into olive oils or sunflower seed oil, jojoba oil, all those, they are bigger molecules and they do not soak into your skin as very quickly. They make the skin be more greasy. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But use what you have if you get it in your eyes. Okay, just don't use the water. Excuse me. Okay. It blends. Cardamom is very good with like bergamot, cedarwood, cinnamon, clove, orange, rose, and lang lang, which is spelled Y-L-A-N-G twice. It's used for all kinds of different things. So congestion, it can be good for colitis. It can help in the case of diarrhea. If you have mental fatigue, it's another way of being able to help in your mindset in order to kind of keep it calm and relaxing. Remember, it has the esters, and that's what esters are for. It's also something you could help in, like if you have something going on with your pancreas, put it right over the pancreas. So like pancreatitis, You can apply right over that area, 1 or 2 drops. You always want to think about how much you're using. If you're using it topically, usually 1 or 2 drops is plenty. If you're going to use it internally, 1 drop can do it. So you can make a, so like if you have a sore throat, you can use it for a sore throat too, but you can use it with like a glass of water and a drop of water, or not a glass of water, but like a shot glass with water, and put 1 drop in there and then do it that way. Or you can do like a gargle. You know, if you've got a sore throat, use the water and the cardamom as a gargle. If you have any muscle pain, it's another one that can help in relaxing those muscles. So massage it into the area. So like if the calf muscles, arm muscles are hurting, cardamom is one of those that can be used for that. Not something that we would typically reach for when it comes to muscle support. It's great if you think you have a lot of bad breath going on. Just cardamom, swish around in your mouth, and then spit it out. Don't swallow it if you're going to do that. And the reason why is because you've got lots of bacteria in your mouth, right? And yeast, all kinds of stuff. So if you're going to swish it around your mouth, do that and spit it out. And you can spit it out in your sink, or you can spit it out in your garbage. Either way you look at it. And of course we can use it for cooking, right? Because cardamom is a spice. So how much do you use? How would you know how much to use? That depends on your recipe. What are you making? Do you need a lot of that kind of spice, or do you want just a tiny bit? So 1 drop. This is really good to know. Most essential oils, 1 drop is the equivalent of 1 teaspoon of dry herbs. So if you were cooking, what's the recipe call for? If it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of spice, dry spice, would you use a whole drop? Because it's equal to 1 teaspoon and you only need a 1/4 teaspoon. Well, no, that'd be too much and you probably won't like the recipe. Use a toothpick. Take your toothpick, dip it in there, and then swirl it in whatever you're doing. And then taste it. If it's not enough, do it again. You can also get what's called a pipette, and they have different ones where you can get a 1/4 drop. And this is how your chefs do it, so that they can get that, 1/8 of a drop, 1/4 a drop, 1/2 a drop. That's how they do it if they're using anything like in this category, like essential oils. So it's called a pipette. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I cook with essential oils all the time. And it's a lot of fun because the first time one time when we were cooking shrimp and we put wild orange in there, and they're like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "We're flavoring the shrimp." They thought that was the best thing on the planet. So experiment. Sometimes it's a lot of fun and it tastes very good. So cardamom is one of those. Plus, when you're using essential oils, now when you reach a certain temperature, you're no longer using it in the category of my health, but it's still healthy for me. But you still get something out of that essential oil versus nothing at all out of the dry spice. Because you really don't. Same with cinnamon. There's a lot of differences in the cinnamons, and we're going to talk about that, but not tonight. So, because I'm on the seas, and so we've got cassia and cinnamon and all these other really great essential oils that we're going to talk about as we go along. So now, I also want to make you very aware of what cardamom is for on an emotional side. We always think about using essential oils for physical issues, but what about emotional? That emotion has a lot to do with our physical issues. And if we don't take care of our mental awareness, then things can kind of hang on and really grab you sometimes. And so I have a lovely friend here that wants to help me, my cat. But cardamom is the oil of objectivity. And here, you want to meet my cat? This is my cat. He's like, what are you doing to me? Yeah, he got in a fight the other night, so he wasn't doing very well, but I have my oils. He may not have liked it, but he got correct X on him. He's fine today. He was limping around yesterday. Not today. Anyway, cardamom, the oil of objectivity. So what cardamom does on the negative side of emotions is anger, or those people, us that are easily frustrated, objectifying with others, blaming others for the inability to think clearly. This is what cardamom helps get rid of, okay? So it's helping us get more of that self-control, respect, tolerant for other people, and be more patient, and mentally be mental sobriety. So when we think about that, it's helping individuals with, especially those that have a long history of anger or that aggression, to redirect it. Okay, it becomes directed outward. So people get really focused on their anger, and they can't let it go, or they let things fester. And this is what we want to do, is help let go of that anger, so that it can calm down, so that it can be a little more, we get that self-control and recognize what we're doing. So this is what cardamom can actually help us do, is to let go of the emotional distortions. So I know a lot of times, like I said, a lot of us will think, okay, well, my knee hurts, my back hurts, my foot hurts. Could there be a emotional connection with that physical problem? And a lot of times physical, when we are in, a lot of us will have habits. We all have habits. What do those habits look like? Do we blow up really quickly? Are we patient with people? These are things that we have to look at also, as to what's our past like? What happened in our past that makes us this way? Because it didn't just happen overnight. This is something that most of the time will stem from when we're young. That's anywhere from 5 to 7. That age range, at 5 to 7, because I've even discovered things for me that's like, oh, wait a minute, and then I go, luckily I have a mother that's still alive, and I'll ask her, hey, when I was such and this age, what happened? What was going on at that time? And it really helps bring those issues to light. And it's like, okay, that makes perfect sense as to why I did such and such. So it's something that if you have the ability to look at the past and what were the things going on in your life when you were young, and just kind of discover you. So cardamom could help you discover part of that world, right? All right. So we've talked about what it blends well with. We know it's a digestive. We know it's an antispasmodic. We know it's anti-inflammatory, and it helps with the digestion. It helps with decongestion. And it's also part of some of our blends that we have as well, but it's also in our Breathe drops that we have for respiratory. So if you're, another thing for being congested, and I didn't say that, instead of just putting it on your chest, you can put it over the bridge of your nose, or you can put a little bit right here underneath your nose to help with that congestion. Now, again, if you have sensitivity, don't put it there, okay? Unless you know for sure you can put it there. And usually cardamom is okay to use neat, meaning that you don't have to worry about blending it with a carrier oil of any kind. Just use it right by itself. Most people don't have a sensitivity to it. So what are you going to do the next time you're cooking? Okay, there's one more thing, couple more things here I want to get to. I have a blend for the diffuser that I'm going to share with you. Okay. Oh, and it's good for motion sickness too. You know anybody that gets car sick? I used to. I was like, my brother wanted me to play in the back seat of the car. I couldn't do that very much. I was like, nope, we're done. You gotta look out the window. Excuse me. Okay, so here is a diffuser blend. You know, so if you've got a diffuser at home, 3 drops of cardamom, 2 drops of eucalyptus, and 1 drop of lemon eucalyptus. Now, lemon eucalyptus is not something that we always have. And I believe, if I don't have my phone right here, I believe that lemon eucalyptus is one of our freebies this month, with 125 PV order for those of you that have a membership. So that just, if you, by diffusing in your, wherever it is, whether it's living room, and when you diffuse, you're cleaning up the air as well as putting in smells in the air that are going to be helpful for you. So if you want respiratory support, this is going to help for that respiratory support. And there's many different diffusers out there, and you can find them anywhere. You find them on Amazon all the time. Now, if you want something that's more like an inhaler, then use 5 drops of cardamom, 5 drops of neroli, which I really like, 5 drops of lemon. So you put that in an inhaler, or like I said before, you can, if you've got just your own roller bottle, just put those in a roller bottle and use it that way as an inhaler. Or you just roll it in your hands, rub it, smell it, okay? Or you can put it on, like for those of you that have the vents on the floor, you could put it on a cotton ball. You could put it on, if you don't have a diffuser, you can put it on a shoestring, you know, anything that will soak up the oil and put it on that vent. And so it comes, because your heat is on and off, so it's not all the time, right? If you want it all the time, then you're going to need a diffuser. But make sure that when you're using these, to deeply inhale them. So when you're putting it in your hand, on your hands, making sure, breathe in through the nose, exhale through the mouth, okay? Why do I say do that? Because if you're like this and you breathe out, the fumes are going to go right to your eyes. And it does. So again, think about something that you wouldn't ordinarily reach for. And cardamom is one of those that I love having around, because I have used it many times for cooking. And you never know when that oil, along with some others, are going to be the perfect combination for what's going on in your life for the thing that you need. So that's my take on cardamom. I like, again, and it comes in a 5 ml bottle. So it doesn't come in a very big bottle. So this is mine. In fact, it's getting down there. I'm gonna have to get some more. So for those of you that don't know, or maybe you're watching this video, if you'd like to have your own wholesale account, you can. Don't need to sell it. There's no minimum every month. It's just be a wholesale customer and love using essential oils and other products. Whatever it is that you are looking for, you can reach out to me or reach out to the person that shared this video. You can find me on YouTube, Diana Hinkle, and I'll post it again in our groups. But I enjoy doing these so that you guys learn more. And as I learn some things too, like putting frankincense, melissa, and laurel leaf. It's like laurel leaf is one of those that I really hadn't thought about much, because it's just, you get used, when we have habits and we get used to doing certain things, you don't think beyond the box. So it takes somebody else to tell you, hey, wait a minute, use that. I'm like, oh yeah. So that's part of why I'm here. It's like, oh yeah, you know, let the light bulbs go off. So to help you understand what you can do and how, what you can use. So that's what I have for tonight. And do we have any questions or any feedback? Oh, yes, there is a, on, if you Google it, there is a picture where it tells you what your, I think Sue is that, Sue, are you, here, let me pin you. Okay, so is that?
Yeah, it's a
essential oils for cooking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a cheat sheet. It's really handy.
Yeah. So you can Google that, essential oils. You can go doTERRA essential oils for cooking, and you'll find the picture. It'll pop up. So now that she's displaying that, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate that. Okay.
I don't know where I would be without that chart.
Yeah, because you do a lot of baking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have the Madagascar Vanilla, which is,
oh, I know.
It's like, I love it.
A good vanilla.
I know.
We haven't got to the V
so
yet, but
lovely.
or no,
too.
I guess that would be under the M's because it's Madagascar Vanilla.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's
anyway,
from the
so now that we kind of
Bourbon
spilled the
Islands
beans
of Madagascar.
literally, we've
Everybody's
spilled
like,
the
it
beans.
has bourbon in it. I'm like, no, it's from the Bourbon Islands of Madagascar. That's it's called Bourbon Vanilla.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's a, and there is on YouTube a really nice video about the Madagascar Vanilla. Yeah, it's amazing what this company, not only for the products, but what they do for others to help lift them up all around the globe. And it's amazing what this company has done. Just totally amazing. It's just, I even in, 2 years in the pandemic, it's the same thing. It's like, I can't believe all the things that they have been able to accomplish. It's just, new hospital in Somaliland. It's like, oh my gosh, that's been 2 years, 3 years in the making. So they don't give up. They do what they say they're going to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm going to stop this recording, and I thank you guys for being here tonight. And we will be here the first and third Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. Same channel.